Hey, we're live. Sal from Games Rip, as you can probably tell, because there's branding literally everywhere there, and also, if I can point to it, up the top there as well. I actually paid money to stream here, so yeah, we're here on Friday night. It's 8 o'clock, and we've got a few special guests tonight. We'll be discussing the port of Postal to the Dreamcast, which is, as you can probably tell, coming along pretty damn well. So that's right. We've got 4 guests all waiting in the green room. First of all, let's bring in my co-host. If I can do this, if I can remember how to do this, James from ItsMuchMore. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to get this wrong. I'm going to get it wrong. Hold on. I can maximize him.
Hey, good evening.
How are you doing, James?
I'm doing okay. On the full screen, I see. So
yes, I know.
So I don't know how it's looking. I've got the N-Gage powered up and the other console here. I don't know why I've got that console on. But I'm doing good. Are you doing good, Al?
I'm doing very well. What is that game playing right now?
Tokyo Highway Challenge. It's because
Tokyo Highway Challenge.
Yeah, it's because it's the only game that doesn't give out so much glare. Like, 'cause I was going to have another game on, which we'll probably talk about later on today because it's celebrating a birthday. But yeah, it's a good game because it's dark. It's just racing in the dark.
I was going to say, already there's a comment on here saying sick kiosk, James. To be fair, I'm very, very jealous of you, and I would love to get one.
Well, one sold on eBay last night for $2,000. So
sorry, $2,000.
Yeah, but that's
how much they're going for now.
No, the big version sold for 2,000. That's this is a mini one. So
well, still to be fair, it looks pretty damn awesome. Thank you very much, James.
No problem.
And now we've got, like I said, I'm going to screw this up because I have not used Restream all that much. But next up, we've got Ian Michael. Hold on, there he is. Hello, Ian. How you doing?
Hello. How you doing there, Alex and James?
Doing very, very well. And like I said before, off the stream, your hair. I mean, damn.
Oh yes, it's very long.
I'm loving it, mate. So what have you been up to at the moment?
Well, for the last 7 days, trying to build the Linux SH4 cross compiling toolchain for Callistos, and it's been an epic fail.
No, I did not expect you to say it's an epic fail.
Yes.
God. Well, come on, what's happened?
I have no idea, but I will never give up, so I'll just keep repeating and doing the same thing and seeing if madness works.
To be fair, it will usually prevail. So I'm sure.
I think the universe will just get sick of me keep doing it and pestering everyone.
No, I don't think they will. Everyone loves your work, Ian. You know you're a legend, which is why I bring you on to. Come on, you know it's true. It's why we bring you onto these streams. I'm not joking. Come on, I'm not joking. Anyway,
legend in my own lunchtime.
No, you are a legend. The work you do for the community is amazing, and I want to thank you, obviously, for that.
Oh, well, thank you, Alex. I'll take that as a compliment.
No, it is meant to be, trust me. And next up, we've got Dan Redfield. Dan, how you doing?
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
First ever stream.
Hold on, what is that behind you, that cage? What?
Those are my chinchillas.
No, come on, you got to get one out now, surely.
I don't know if they're awake yet. You got Shimmer down the bottom and Charlie on the top. You going to wake up? He'll be out.
No, they're not going to wake up. Damn it, Christ. So, now, obviously, you've been up to the port of Postal, right?
Yes.
I can imagine that, and obviously the young one you have is probably keeping you pretty damn busy at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. All hours, but best jobs in the world.
Yeah, I can imagine. To be fair, I don't have any kids of my own at the moment, so I can't say I know exactly how it feels, but I can imagine, yeah, it's pretty damn hard work.
It is a lot of hard work, but yeah, I love it.
That and rewarding, absolutely.
Very. Apart from my nappies.
Oh, no. That's the one thing I would never want to deal with. Oh, good lord.
Yeah, grim.
Well, thanks, Dan, for coming on. And
no, thank you for having me.
That's all right. Yeah, no worries at all. And now we've got Retro Faith. Faith, how you doing? Hello, Faith. Can you hear us, Faith? I'm going to say that's a no at the moment. Okay, right.
Oh, is it me? I
Yes.
can't hear anything. Sorry, I've missed it. I've been watching the video.
Okay.
I've never seen this restream thing in my life. I have no idea. Do you know how I get the sound? I can't hear what you're saying, mate. Honestly, I've
Normally,
seen all the other people just talking.
that's all right. Normally, you have to press.
Sorry,
That's
I can't see anywhere on here that says where's the sound.
Hold on.
Click on settings. Right. Audio. Yeah, I'm on that. Output. Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. No, that's absolutely fine. Hold on. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I've never seen this before. I like my Streamlabs. That's so much more better.
To be fair, Streamlabs it's a lot more user friendly. Let's put it that way. Because I've been only playing around with Restream for a bit, and even I'm not very good at it. So yeah.
Well done. Sorry, yeah, I just couldn't see what was going on there. I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway, hello. How's everyone? Sorry, I missed what everyone else said. So I hope you said wonderful things.
Yeah. No. It was all good. Everyone's busy. What about yourself?
I'm really busy. There's so much Dreamcast stuff happening. So much Dreamcast. I've got like 3 new games this month to review. So much going on. And not just Dreamcast wise, retro wise, but Dreamcast is so hot right now, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. It's amazing how big the community's getting, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down either. So, I mean, Tom.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, no, it certainly is. I mean, we got new publishers appearing all the time. We got publishers collaborating to bring our physical discs out. We've got people like Dan making great ports of old games. There's so much happening all the time, and it's that you just can't keep up with it all. Dreamcast is the retro console at the moment.
It absolutely is. It absolutely
always was.
Xbox?
Always was.
Oh, I thought you
always
said
was.
Or
No,
Xbox. I was like,
no.
What? Get off the streaming. No, I was going to say, what 3 games have you got that you're reviewing for Dreamcast?
Well, I recently reviewed Beebis 2 from John Riggs and Way Publishing. I've also had from Low Tech Games. I've had a couple. I think you had Alistair on, didn't you, last week? He's had a couple out. So I had. What did he send me now? Or I had them at Flea and Tapeworm. Brilliant. And I've got a few as well. I think ones I can say about because I've been given quite a few that haven't been announced. I've got the latest build of Rush Rally Reloaded, which is due out in February. Wow. It's not much different to the original, few tweaks. That's looking good. Yeah. And I think there's one that hasn't been announced by the publisher yet, so I'm not going to say.
Oh, hello.
I've been playing.
I wonder what that is.
What? I know what it is. Yeah, it's great. It's brilliant. No, I'm not going to say any more.
God damn it! I wonder if Ian knows what it is. Ian. Come on, Ian. He does. Come on. God damn it.
We're not allowed. No, we're not allowed.
I do get it, honestly, to be fair. I understand, because I can't remember what the hell it was now. After this was a while ago, though. There was a port, or whatever the hell it was, of After the Fall. I don't know if any of you have heard of that. It's kind of like a Quake mod, basically. Using the Quake engine was something that a guy called Pip Naylor was working on, and I basically couldn't say a word, even though people were like, "Well, what is it you're actually working on at the moment?" I'm like, "Well, I can't say anything because if I say anything, then the community will go nuts, and then also you just get a bad name." So it's like, okay, I keep quiet. But when it's revealed, it's going to be awesome, and that's all you can really say.
That's it. No, for me, I'll tell you what it is for me. I mean, it's more a case of you kind of want to wait for the publishers and the developers to say they're ready to let everyone. Because the thing is, the questions start pouring in, the requests for interviews, and it takes away them from making the actual game. So, I mean, some of us, we're lucky. We sometimes get the pre. The other thing is as well, sometimes I get a lot of the early builds, and you're like, okay, this obviously isn't the finished one. And they go, no, it's another couple of months away, but we just want to make sure, because what it is, there's a Dreamcast so hot, especially Dreamcast games, they can just send the CDI image. It's brilliant. It's like like what Dan's done with Postal. It's excellent. Yeah,
exactly. I was going to say, talking of Postal, now obviously we're here to discuss Postal, aren't we, Dan? Is that right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No. You definitely know what we're talking about. So obviously the clip everyone saw at the beginning was just a small clip I took from the latest build. But that build was yesterday, wasn't it?
Day before, I think. Was it?
Was it day before? Was it?
I can't remember. Every day is just one blur at the moment. So
yeah, and to be fair, already you could see the big difference in frame rate, because I know that's the one main thing you've been working on recently, isn't it? To get it to play that damn smoothly. Now, whether that really portrayed itself that much on this stream, I'm not entirely sure. I think it came out okay, but yeah, as you can see, it's looking absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do right there, look at that. The Porter of Postal. So the first question, this is the first question when it comes up. How did the project to port Postal actually start? Because obviously, a lot of the time, people want to kind of... There's one reason that people pick a certain title. Why was that your title? And yeah, what made you choose that one to port to the Dreamcast?
No one had done it yet, basically. No, I mean, I was there right at the beginning. I was 15, I think, when I bought Postal, thanks to a shop assistant at BT's who didn't bother checking ID. So this whole thing is thanks to them.
Right.
And a couple of years back, I saw that Running with Scissors had released the code. They wanted a Dreamcast port, and I just assumed someone else would do it, and they didn't.
Yeah. I was going to say, Postal is apparently one of James's favourite games. Is that right, James?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is one of my favourite games of all time. So don't know why I liked running around as Postal Dude. I wouldn't do that in real life, obviously. But it's great. I used to like all those games back in the old PC style of things like Army Man, Postal, all those old, really good either point and click or just the fact that you can use a keyboard and mouse to move around. But it works great on the Dreamcast with the analog as well. So yeah, big fan of Postal. So I'm glad to be here with everyone talking about such a great game.
Absolutely. Has everyone actually had a chance to play it yet? Obviously, apart from Dan. Yes? Ian, have you played as well, Retrofaith?
I played it about half an hour ago, the latest build. I played the first build, and now I played the latest one today.
And what do you think?
Me? Oh no, I really like it. I mean, I'm with James. It's a fantastic. I can do that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm with James. That's scary. Okay, it's fantastic game. Just even without it being on the Dreamcast now, which is amazing. And hopefully we get to see that physically, won't we, Dan?
Well, funny enough, that was one of the questions I was going to ask. I mean, I don't know whether you're allowed to talk about it yet. Do you want to see it come as a physical release?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But to be honest, I've no idea. A well-known Dreamcast publisher has got in touch about a month ago now. I've not heard anything since with regard to doing a physical one. And Running with Scissors did mention the possibility of a physical release in their podcast about 2 weeks ago. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm definitely open to it, but no one's saying anything to me, at least, anyway. So,
I think that's the problem sometimes is developers will be porting something or creating something, but they don't necessarily know the actual routes to get something physically out there. And I suppose there's also the danger of, am I allowed to put it out there?
Sure.
Because of rights and everything like that, I suppose. But I'm pretty sure if you put it to a Kickstarter or whatever, I'm pretty sure everyone would back it. I don't see why they wouldn't. I just think it would be another great title to have on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. So, who knows?
To me, that looks like you're actually trying to say it is going to happen and it's coming soon.
I'm putting a lot of effort into it. I'm putting a lot of effort into it. So
that's a yes then. Okay, well, good.
I hope.
I'm glad that's happening. So obviously, as soon as that is announced, like it just has been, we'll talk about it more. So I have got a question though, because when I played it, I didn't actually use the keyboard and mouse. Does it work with keyboard and mouse?
Nah.
No.
If you want keyboard and mouse, go for the PC version. This is Dreamcast. This is a Dreamcast port specifically for everyone with the controller. And I don't know, it just I think it feels better.
Like it doesn't need it.
Yeah. I mean, as it's console port, I wanted to give it more of a console feel, as it were. You know,
Yeah.
Give it a bit more of a run and gun feeling to it, rather than the. I mean, if only it had a second stick. You know, if only the Dreamcast had a second stick.
Do you know what though? I mean, not that many people might have it, but you've got the twin stick, and I know that there is games that have been worked. Xenocrisis worked with the twin stick. You could do it. You could do it, Dan. If you've got the passion for it, you could do it with a twin stick.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you think?
It's definitely possible.
It's possible.
I wish I had one.
Well, maybe
if anyone wants to
donate
donate a twin stick,
I'd happily lend. I've got one. I'll happily lend it for testing if you want to have a go. No problem. As long as I get it back at some point.
at some...
I need to play Xenocrisis.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm absolutely open to implementing the twin stick. But the keyboard and mouse thing, I want you to be able to play it on the couch.
Yeah.
You know, and if you want to use keyboard and mouse, it's on the PC for free, and it can run on a potato. So.
Yeah, I get that. I think, I think the thing is though, with Dreamcast games now, if it's ports, homebrews, etc., I think the thing is with the Dreamcast community is I think sometimes they want every single damn option to be there, be it keyboard and mouse, online, etc., etc., etc. And that seems to be the thing I hear quite a lot is you'll see this great port like Postal, and then people will be like, well, why is it not? Why have they not done that? Or they're expecting the world out of it, if that makes sense. But like you said,
sure,
the reasoning behind not having keyboard and mouse is because you didn't want to. That was not your vision for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's unfortunately one of those things when you get in. Well, I'm not a developer, but what I mean is people just expect the world. So yeah, I think what you've done is the right idea, and it was a good answer because it's your vision, and I like that. And I really appreciate it's a good answer.
I'm open sourcing it, so if anyone wants to go ahead and put the keyboard and mouse in there, they're welcome to, if they want.
But it's not going to be an option straight off the bat. But to be fair, I don't think that matters. So my question now to Ian. Ian, have you played it?
Yes, I've played it, the first version, and I'd never played it ever before. So the first time I've ever played it was Dan's port, and I thought it was, even as the first alpha, I thought it was one of the most polished ports to Dreamcast on homebrew I'd ever seen. Just as an alpha, you know. I didn't have any problems with it crashing or anything, and I loved it. Yeah, no crashing for me, and I played it off CDR. I burned it. And so
nice.
And I also loved how he put in, when you go around a building, it gets invisible. That's like a trick on the PVR. Okay. I thought that was great. Dan can say more about that. He says it was a simple thing on the PVR, but I thought it was really neat. I hadn't actually seen it before on homebrew, where you had the two buildings, like they changed to almost looking like transparent and back again. I thought that was really nice.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of the time, as just people who play the games, we don't actually realize what goes into it for that to happen.
Well, he's using the GPU as well, like the PVR, to do, to make the rendering, and the I think he's using the tile renderer as well to put the tiles and stuff like that. I think people look at it and go, "Oh, it's not 3D," but it's actually a lot of work to get it running as good as he has. A ton of work and a lot of skill, because it's not just going to run like that. I'm sure Dan has a version way back that didn't run like that.
Yeah, a few. My word.
I mean, I was going to say, well, what revision is this now?
18,003.
Yeah, that sounds like
a lot. It's gone through a lot of changes. There's no software rendering at all. It's all done with the PVR. So I've wrote 80-90% of the rendering pipeline.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing, Dan. Also, we were talking about. I was showing him some things from a great developer Moop on his SH4 mathematics, like the fast floor and all that sort of stuff. And I think that helped a tiny bit. You said?
Oh, yeah. We wouldn't be hitting 60
Not
without that kind of stuff.
casting or something. Yeah, yeah. And I thought that that's sort of what Moop did is sort of no one looks at it anymore, but there's so much stuff in there that can help. Well, help me anyway.
Yeah.
Stuff in there that like even on a software rendering Quake port, it went from 20 frames a second to 36 just with his mathematics that he is. Even the fast divide, and I mean that's huge.
I was gonna say that's one hell of a jump.
Yeah.
It was because that's where on the software renderer, that's where the bottleneck was, and without like his SH4 module, there was no way to do it. And it's actually very flexible and usable. So I think I just wanted to point that out, that if people didn't know, there's a thing called DreamHal, and Moop created it, and it's in there is modules for SH4 mathematics that can help with your development.
Right.
Because it's not really pushed or something like that, but it can really help. There's square root, there's dot product, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and you'll be amazed. I mean, it's not a silver bullet. You still have to know what you're doing with it, but you can really make your frame rate or find the bottlenecks. Also, I was talking about Kazard's DC profiler. That's a game changer to me, because without that, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's not 100%, but you can see things that you might not have thought. Like on a dot graph, what's taking the most time, what's this, and then you can actually target your optimization to that. So, I mean, years before that, you basically were pissing in the wind or guessing. I'm not joking. You were. I mean, you run it on there and you go, okay. So there's been a lot of tools in the last couple of years that make it so we can push it a little bit further. Like on GLDC, Moop is a legend. And so are you, Freak Dave. And so one of the things I was looking on GLDC not long ago is we were getting really slow benchmark, and Tappan said you have to warm up the PVR 1 frame before you run it. As soon as I did that, GLDC on benchmark was above. It was like almost 1.7 million polys per second above what it was doing before, which was crazy. So there's little things that a lot of us developers should tell each other, because I think for a long time, almost a year, I was trying to get it faster than libgl that was in Callistos before, and it was never hitting there. As soon as I put the warm 1 frame up from Tappan, it was faster. And Kazard had been working on that for a long, long time, and it was already faster. It was just had to warm up 1 frame before it benchmarked. So anyway, I'm more on basically behind just trying to do dev things and stuff like that at the moment. I'm trying to build a tool chain on Linux that works in a virtual box, because I have a lot of people that I know want to get into Dreamcast, but they don't want to. They want it to work and then start on their thing. I'm talking about developers that have been in the industry and stuff like that. They don't have time to sit there for 8, 9, 10 hours like I do, or days and days. They have to install it and work and get on with their project. Some of the people I'm talking to are paid developers right now, or ex-Sega developers. I say Sega, whatever, it's an Australian thing. So, but
I did wonder. I was about to question that. I was like, Sega?
These people can't set up Callistos. They can't get it working. Right. And they used to work for Sega, or used to work for that, and they can't get it working. And I know it's supposed to be simple. And even last year, I installed it on Linux and it worked perfectly. But this year, I can't get it to build on VirtualBox. It's probably got to do with, all sorts of things to do with Linux, that this package is not updated, or this one's this, or this has changed, or whatever. But I've found it, if I was a new developer coming right now and I just got VirtualBox because I just want to try it out, I don't want to commit myself to it, and install Linux, follow the official documents. Well, it's been 7 days. I would have given up right now if I was a paid developer. I would have said, well, stuff that. Because I had one who said, no, stuff that. So I know that there's Docker containers and all that, but you're talking about people who don't have time to learn every new development system. We're passion people like me and Dan and that. We love the Dreamcast. We're Dreamcast, you know. But if you want to get other developers with other skills into it, you have to have an easy to install toolchain. I mean, the original Katana SDK was on Windows 98. It was install, click, you start working. They didn't have to spend 10 hours trying to get tools to work before they start working. So this is just because I'm bummed out about it and been doing it for 7 days. And I know a lot of people can build it and that's fine. But I know I've been doing it for 18 years and it's not working.
Yeah.
It's frustrated me to no end. I mean, the first time it took 8 hours and then it says error. And I tracked down all those errors. Then there's another error. I mean, I'm following exactly what it is on the repo, exactly how it's doing. I'm being like someone who has no idea. I'm just following what it says. I mean, I have tool chains working on Windows. I have Dream SDK. I have tool chains on CYG Win. I don't need a tool chain. I've got them all working. I want to build it.
Yeah.
Right now in 2022, and say to someone that I know who works in the industry, this is what you do, and then they have it working. Well, it's not turning out. I mean, I said it was easy, and I gave them the instructions, and they said it doesn't work. And then so this is how this started for me this week.
Right. So in other words, what you're trying to say is your week did not go well.
No, it didn't go well. I was not in a good mood whatsoever to come into this stream because, in fact, I'm still building right now.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you turned up.
Yeah.
No,
this time it seems to be going well. I'm on Lababutu something. I don't know, but this one didn't have any errors and it's building, so I don't know. We'll see. So
my question is then, being that it is that difficult to...
It can,
go on.
Go. It can be. Like, I've seen other people and it's working fine. It seems to be different configuration or different things. I'm doing this in a virtual box, but I'm doing that because a lot of people who come new to start coding are not going to set up a whole machine just to do Dreamcast and they haven't even done it before.
Yeah.
They want to like test it, build the samples, have a look, and then can commit to doing it natively or something like that. Or that's why Dream SDK is really good. I mean, Shadow Gangs use Dream SDK to develop the whole game. It's
Postal too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, without Dream SDK, and we didn't have that 3 or 4 years ago, you wonder why there's not a lot of new developers coming to the scene. Well, this is one of the problems because how are you going to ask people that you don't know how this error works? I mean, when you first come to the scene, it's like a brick wall. And if you don't know Simulant Discord, well, I mean, you can ask in a forum and wait a week for a return or never get a reply. So all I'm saying here is that, you know, I've been around it since 2002, and I know how to get it working to what I want. All my projects are working. I don't have a problem, and I can use the Docker container. What about someone new getting it to build?
Well, this is what I was about to ask. Being that it is pretty difficult, let's face it, because I don't want to say other systems are easier to go and create a game with, but are we saying that essentially to go and actually create a game or port a game or whatever to the Dreamcast, it's harder than a lot of other systems? Is that what we're saying?
Well,
so is it actually a good? So what I'm saying is it actually a good system for people to try and learn?
It's easy to get stuff running. It's not easy to get stuff running well.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good then.
I mean, you could have anything ported very quickly if it's in C or it's in, you know, C++, or you have the rendering backend. I mean, you can null port anything and just create your own rendering backend. You can get things up and running well on Dreamcast, but when you have to tailor it to the PVR, that's a mistress of darkness, the PVR, knowing all its tricks and stuff. I mean, I'm still learning about it. Woo! I mean, it does some, like Einstein said, spooky stuff close up. The PVR is spooky stuff close up.
Okay.
It really is. I mean, sometimes you can, it just does things that you wouldn't know what it's supposed to do, but it is spooky.
Yes,
Well,
I can imagine.
It's not the PVR and the tile accelerator and the way all they work. They're not anything like any other system. No, they're not like a PC or like the other consoles. It's its own thing. It's to get it working at a fast speed without choking the pipeline, without having catch misses, without having all this, everything. You have to continuously feed the tile accelerator all the time. Any little miss and it chokes, and you'll see that on the other side. And this is not an easy task with homebrew development. We don't have the development box. Without DC profile, I don't think you could get anything working to perfection like you could. So I'll leave it to Dan. He can tell more about the PVR. He just wrote a whole rendering back end to a PC game. I mean, that's incredible. I think people don't understand how. Where is he? He's over here somewhere. There. How incredible
he's now
that is.
on the big screen.
Yeah. How incredible that is. I mean, that's that. Sega would have had a hard time, developers doing that. I mean, that's a lot of work. That's a year's work and a lot of black screens and things not working and crashes. I mean, the Dreamcast likes to crash instantly like that. That's what it does. And then you get a little thing that says blah 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 blah, and you get a address line and you go, oh, and then it crashes again. I mean, it's not user friendly when it crashes.
Not at all. My wife knows when to run out of the room. If I say bus error, she is gone.
Yeah, that's what.
No, she's out of there.
Yeah, it's when you see some people. I've seen some comments on some forum. Oh, this is so Dreamcast is low hanging fruit and it's easy to port to it and do all this. A load of bollocks.
We've heard it there first.
Yeah. And 2D this and 2D that. Shadow Gangs is rendering from the PVR. It's not a frame buffer. They're not throwing little things here and got SDL and it's going there. You'd be running about 10 frames a second and run out of RAM in about a minute. Now, it's a huge amount of work. Dan's work up there is an amazing work. To write an actual back end and make that work with the logic of the original game.
Yeah,
that's a fully Dreamcast product, and it should be commended.
Absolutely.
I'm getting all shy now. Thank you.
Well, shy, come on. Well, that brings us on to
I'm just trying to let people understand what it takes to do that. They see maybe it doesn't look like Sonic Adventures and don't realize the amount of work to get that to work. You know, it seems like if you think it's 2D, that's not a work. And it's fully power video rendering.
Yeah.
It's because you think it looks 2D, that doesn't mean Jack, what's his name? That was a lot of difficult hard work. Okay. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, to be fair, it's good to hear because a lot of the time we don't, like I said, as gamers or whatever, we don't know the effort that goes into all of this. So when we hear it, it blows our minds because we're like, I literally didn't understand a word of that. But now we understand the struggle, if that makes sense. And and that's kind of what I like to use this as a forum essentially for you guys to talk, because a lot of the time people might not hear about it. I mean, obviously I know you do your own videos, etc., but I just think this is a good way of getting it out there, and to have some devs on here and some fans, etc. I just think it's a good mix, and we can hear stuff that we wouldn't normally get to hear, if that makes sense. Well, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I don't know. Everyone's gone quiet. Anyway, so...
No, it does. I'll tell you what I'll say. As someone that is at the opposite end of it, so like we're like, you know, Ian and Dan are at the start of it all, doing all the really hard work and working out all these problems, technical problems, and that, and it is that, and then I'm kind of just coming at the end and go, right, let's get this game sold. It really is good to hear the struggles that has to happen for years as well. Sometimes, like you know, some of these games take such a long time. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah. It's great to hear all these things, even if it is soapboxy. It doesn't matter. It's good.
Exactly, and that is exactly it. It's the forum. Say what you want. That's how I like it. unedited. Just say what the hell you want. And you can swear on here, by the way. You can say fuck. I don't care.
I didn't even know that.
I mean,
Oh,
honestly,
you're
if
in
you wanna
trouble now.
swear, it doesn't bother me. Honestly, it won't offend me because I've just done it myself.
Alex, my mother is watching this.
Oh shit! Is she actually?
Hi, Mum.
Yes.
Hi. Say hello to
Hi, Mum.
Ian's mum.
Hi, Ian's mum.
Hello. How is she doing at the moment? She well?
She's doing better than she was.
Good. That's good.
That's
to
good.
hear.
Awesome.
Good. Well, I was gonna say I send my best wishes. Absolutely. Hope
Thanks,
she's doing
guys.
well. That's all right. No problem at all. So that brings me on to my next question, and I think we kind of maybe covered it anyway. Is what were the actual struggles that you've come up with porting Postal?
Do you know what the biggest one? The biggest problem is probably sound. Getting all of the ambient sounds working correctly. I mean, because when I first started it, I honestly don't know what it changed, but I was looking at doing a quick SDL port, basically, something which wouldn't take me that long. Just get it up and running quickly, have it work, done. Just something to occupy me, I had a baby on the way, which is pretty stressful. Lockdown, needn't get into all the political issues in the UK. I needed something to take my mind off things, and somewhere along the line, I can't really put my finger on it. It changed into, I need this to be a decent port. I need this. It's something I've always wanted to do. I mean, I've always wanted to get a Dreamcast game out. I mean, I know it's not my own IP. It's not technically my own game, but it's good enough for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, baby's going off in the background.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. What I was going to say, do you or does everyone here think that lockdown and all this sort of restrictions etc. we had, like I said, we won't get too political or anything. Don't worry about that. But do we think that that's bred more people to spend more time on doing ports, doing homebrews, doing all these passion projects that they actually normally wouldn't have had the time to do? We're now starting to see that. I mean, was this the case for you, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't for that kind of thing, that this wouldn't be happening. And to be honest, if I'd known how much work and struggle it would have been, I probably wouldn't have started it. But got to the point of no return, and then that was it. Just had to keep going with it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think also when you were saying, so basically, the fact you weren't sure what you wanted to put out, and then you did Postal, etc. Was it then when people also started to see that you were doing it, and then people started commenting on it on Twitter or doing videos, etc.? Did that then also spur you on to think, right, this hasn't got to be 100%, but I want to make it 100%. I want to make it.
It definitely helps. I'm a middle-aged guy from Suffolk. A nobody, to put it bluntly, and
come on.
Maybe. And it was. I'd never really done anything like this before, and it was nice getting involved with the dev community. Ian is being kind of like is like my dev daddy, is my mentor in this kind of thing. I wouldn't be doing it without his support, and he's been brilliant. And as has everyone else on the Discord, it's really nice to be involved in.
And when
the Simulant Discord and Kazad created, and everyone there, we all try to help each other and share source code, share knowledge. There's no like there used to be in the past, like everyone would hoard their knowledge so that they look better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And there isn't that. If I know something and it might help Dan, I'll post it to him. I'll say, well, did you try this or something like that? And we're all a bunch of people who are like a family there. We're not fighting with each other. There's no pretense. So I seen him on Twitter saying, it hasn't been welcomed very well. And I thought, well, there's only one place really, and that's the Simulant Discord, where we all kind of get along. And I said, you have to come there, because if you're outside of there, it's not very nice at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, yeah, there are certain communities that I'll, yeah, I probably won't talk about. But anyway, next question we're going to move on to is, obviously, we've got to ask, is it going to be online?
Probably not.
Okay.
Why? Because I want my luck. It's been a lot of work. It has been a lot of work, and you know, we're looking at. I mean, I'm doing all of this as a hobby in my spare time as well, you know, because I'm being a full-time dad. I work on this when I'm not helping out with my son Fox, which I love, you know. And we're looking at months of work for some which might be used by 3 people 4 times ever, you know.
Yeah.
And I release the source code. I mean, if we do get do you know, to be honest, a lot of it is down to whether there is or isn't going to be a physical release, which, you know, I can't tell you whether there is it, but, you know, who knows. It would be great for me to just put the source code out there and say, here you go, guys. We need an on-source. We need the network code being, you know, transferred over from the PC version to the Dreamcast, you know. I don't actually have a broadband adapter, so that makes life a bit more difficult as well. And I know you can try and test it with emulators, but man, the stuff I've had work on an emulator which hasn't worked on hardware has been, you can't rely on an emulator as the bastion of truth. You know, it has to be on hardware, or just assume it doesn't work. And
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's a lot of work.
I mean,
and
sorry, go on.
I mean, if I put the code out there, which I'm going to do, you know, you will get the source code. I don't know how that would complicate there being a physical release. You know, if someone says I'm going to add online support, does that delay it by 6 months whilst we're waiting? You know.
I mean, what I've got to ask to everyone on here, really, everyone in this stream right now, is do we, or would you all want to see Postal Online? Because I personally, if I'm honest, it doesn't bother me. I'm not a big... I don't really focus on online gameplay, but I know some people do. Now, obviously, we're going to ask someone who definitely streams every Thursday. Faith!
Yes.
What do you think?
I mean, I'll be honest, and do you know what? I'm about to have my Sega card revoked, but one of the reasons why I switched over to PSO on the GameCube, because there's actually players online 24 hours a day. You go on the Dreamcast ones, and sometimes you're just running around for like an hour or two, and nobody joins the game. So, Dan, I'll be honest with you, as much as it'd be really, really cool to see Postal for matching service, all that work you're putting, and I will be completely. It's not because your work wouldn't be good, but nobody will. You like Dan summed it up. You'll have 4 or 5 people try it a couple of times, and then it will never happen again. Unless there's a huge community to get behind it. But let's be honest, we're dealing with indie games in a niche, and all that work that Dan would have to put in just to have like me and the 4 people sitting in front of me playing, and go, yeah, this is really cool, and then it's kind of like, and then who's going to run who's going to get up on the servers and all that and look after all that? It's, you know, the games like PSO and Quake 3 slightly different because they're, you know, huge big brand names, so you do get people in those games, but even the PSO, which is the biggest Dreamcast internet game for obvious reasons, even that struggles to get people on the servers these days. So I'd say it's not worth it. I'd love to see it just out of curiosity, but Dan's right, too much work for the actual reality of who will use it.
Yeah, and I very, very much agree with that. Someone who doesn't agree with that is James.
Come
on, James. Tell us what you think.
Well, if it had the the TCP/IP networking mode, like I featured on my video from whether it be the alpha build or one of the other builds, the PC version has that. You wouldn't have to rely on servers and matchmaking and stuff like that. It's just dialed connection, because the broadband adapter version of Doom does the same. You know, so you don't have to rely on loads of servers being there. You just connect IP to IP, because that's how I play PC games. You know, that's how I play games like Age of the Empires 2 and, you know, stuff like that. So that's how I play my matchmaking games. So the community online, because I'm kind of, you know, the spokesperson when it comes to going online with the Dreamcast as of late. You know, I jump online and people want to talk to me about projects that have been and gone and just waiting. The only reason why they don't play PSO is because they've played it to death. You know, every Friday they meet up and play Quake 3 Arena. There's nothing else for them to play. You know, they don't want to be playing Monaco Grand Prix online. If a game like, say, Postal was there, something different, yeah, you say they might jump on it, 4 of them or whatever might jump on it for a little bit, but it's another game to add to the collection of games that are back online, because, you know, they all meet up online for certain days for certain games, so it might just be another game to add to the popularity. You know, for me, I only boot up my Dreamcast to go online. I don't use it for anything else. And so it's, you know, the Xbox as well. I play my Xbox One only to play online and to live stream. You know, I don't play anything offline anymore. I've got all these games. I can't be asked playing them offline anymore. So for me, it's all about online. And if Postal had online, great. You know, it'd be wicked. And I'd like to play it, play through it, co-op, deathmatch, and all that sort of great stuff. If it didn't, I'll still buy it regardless. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So if it stops production, don't add it in there. If it doesn't, and it's just something like you say, it's open source and somebody else can go in there and add that in at a later stage because it was already on there on a previous build, then by all means, you know, go ahead. It's great with it or without it.
Yeah, that's do you know, I just yeah, I like what James is saying there. I love the sentiment, but I think if you, James, we all know that sometimes, you know, you'll sit there in things like Quake or Alien, we sit there and no one, and it's not because people don't want to play them, it's because it's just there's not always the ability for everyone to get online, and I like the idea that if there was more online games, more people would come online on the Dreamcast. I like the idea of that. I just worry that a lot of devs put in a lot of work for these things to get them up, and then, you know, they don't go anywhere. But I don't know. Do you think with the PSO that it's because people don't want to, because they're bored of it? I don't know.
Well,
it might be, yeah.
I think
it is the one, isn't it?
There's 10 people left really that play online Dreamcast. It's the same 10. You know, if you get 10 people, that's great. You know, because I do a video on Dreamcast and somebody goes, the Dreamcast can be played online, and like a Facebook group didn't know this was online.
I get that every week.
Yeah, nobody knows the Dreamcast is still online to play. You can go on an emulator and join everybody online on the Dreamcast.
That's true.
You don't physically need the Dreamcast itself, but nobody knows that it's still online. So, you know.
Well, it's up for us to fly that flag. Anyway, I'm not the party pooper, James. You know, I'm the advocate, but I'm also the realist of that. You know, the amount of work that someone's going to have to put in to get that to work, and then would it get played? Because it'd be more disappointing if someone did all that, and then, you know, for that weekend or that week or whatever, as the big release went out, everyone's on it, and this is so fun, and all of a sudden they just go back to their Xbox One or whatever, and then
that's the same with any AAA title as well. A brand new game comes out on, say, Xbox. You go on matchmaking, you can't find a game. I go on Final Fight on the PS3 out here. I click on join a matchmaking game. Somebody's on the final boss on Final Fight online on the PS3. So it really doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter where you are. For me, if it has online, great. If it doesn't, it's not going to stop me from playing through it. Yeah, it's going to be still great. So.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Yeah, I mean, it would be amazing. You know, just it would be amazing to see, you know, all those matchups going on, because Postal is an amazing. I think I played it online on PC once, so yeah, I do vaguely remember it. But anyway,
I was going to say I've never played it online before, and I can imagine it would be carnage.
I don't know. Co-op definitely works a lot better than deathmatch online with Postal. I mean, it's a nice isometric shooter. You know, you can have people hiding behind buildings. I mean, until you go behind that building and get the transparency effect, you don't know if they're there or not. You know, it's
I mean, for
and,
me,
and whether there's the new features which are added as well. You know, for the with like the auto lock on.
Yeah.
You know, how does that fit into deathmatch? And I've also made quite a lot of, well, as Ian's already mentioned, I've made a lot of changes to the renderer to try and get this 60 frames a second going. You know, I have removed a bit of the network logic from the main game thread, as it were. Yeah, I've added things in there like an auto frame skip to well, did you? I mean, you tell me. You guys have played it. Well, did you notice much in the way of slowdown at all or anything like that?
To be fair,
no slowdown.
Go on.
That's the auto frame skip. You know,
Right.
and with that kind of thing, when you're trying to synchronize that across a network, and as I said, I don't even have a broadband adapter for it. So, I mean, when I push the code, people, you know, just have at it. You know. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but I'm probably not going to be the one that's going to do it. You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think for me personally, I am more for the single player experience. I appreciate online. Not that I do it a lot. Like I said, if I ever really play, it is either Phantasy Star or Quake 3. It literally is one of those. Because to be fair, I have so many issues with Dream Pi that I just give up half the time. So, and I don't have a broadband adapter. So, to me, I'm not sure online for the Dreamcast is accessible as I think we all think it is. I don't think people want to go through the effort half the time. It's not a simple just.
It's not. It's not. Do you know?
No.
And this is what I know. James puts an awful lot of effort into get all of the games he gets online. And even something, I play my Dreamcast nearly every day.
Yep.
You know, it took me ages just to get the broadband adapter to talk to the broadband.
Yep.
You having to then burn a Japanese web disk to do it, and it's a hassle. It's and do you know what? If you're not and this is meant in the nicest possible way, if you're not a bit of a techie person, getting the Dreamcast online, it's not as everyone says. Oh, it's plug and play, get a Dream Pi. It's not. It's
definitely not.
It's really not. And I know someone that I told, oh, do this, do that. They went and got one of the kits, and they said after a few days of not getting to work, they just gave up. And that was someone that really was excited about it. And that is also part of the problem. There is a tech barrier. Like I say, not everyone's got broadband adapters. Not lucky enough to get them. They're very expensive now. So if you wanted to buy it now, it'll cost you hundreds, £100 plus. So that's the other barrier to it as well. But the guy who's doing the Dream Pies, though, he's back, isn't he? He went quiet. But he's back. He's making them. So he's asking for orders now. So now is the time. If we're going to promote the Dreamcast online, it's now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think there is certainly a place for it, but it's got to be simple. And I'm sure it can be simpler. I'm sure it. Like I said, I'm not a techie, really. I just enjoy the game.
4-player Pong. We need 4-player online Pong. That's what we need. 4 players Pong. You know,
well,
and PVR effects.
If there's any lag on Pong, that's going to cause an issue, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be the ultimate test.
Yeah, it's also, what was it, Driving Strikers or whatever it is? The
Driving Strikers.
Yeah,
that's coming along good. I even seen the lobbies.
Yes, because I saw a Twitter post from Kazard.
Luke?
I think it's Kazard. Yes, today.
Luke.
Talking about it, and I was like, okay, so it is happening then, because again, I think with a game like that, it kind of lends itself. So that is really to me is an online game. Yeah, it's fun single player, but that type of game, I think, lends itself to being online. Whereas Postal's different. Postal is what I would say is a single player game, but yeah, you could tack online on it if you want, but it's a single player campaign really. Whereas Driving Strikers is more, to me, an online or a couch co-op or couch multiplayer type of game. That's what I'd say.
If anyone is going to get online gaming going, it's Luke.
Yeah, of course.
And he's building an infrastructure for Simulant, which is going to be a networking module that you can. Yeah, there you go, Freak Dave up there. It's a networking module that people can include to make their game online.
Right.
So Now, I can't say much more than that, but it's Simulant will allow this type of online gaming, and I think is the future for online gaming, because the 3D games that can be created in it will be very suited to it. And so I think once there is one engine and a set of tools that developers can use, and it actually works online, and you don't have to develop the whole infrastructure yourself, because I was trying to get a project working Open Tyran, if you remember that port.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and we had all the networking code working, but it doesn't work.
Right.
So, and Megavolt went through it. Now he's not a chump, and we couldn't get it to work at all online,
Right.
even though all the code is correct, it compiles correct.
Just doesn't work.
So it just didn't work.
Right.
And I mean, he's an advanced developer, knows the Dreamcast hardware and everything. He told me that the infrastructure is broken.
Right.
It just didn't work.
Yeah, but this is what I mean.
It's not as simple as just adding online play. Where's the examples of it in Homebrew from before? Where's the source code? Where's the release from other people who have made modem working games? Fair enough. The BBA just works. I mean, I can make online things working on the BBA. Radquake had BBA support back in 2003. It was removed because no one used it. No one had a BBA.
Right.
But where is the source code? Yeah, where is the source code for a Homebrew that works with the modem? As an example, where's even a Pong example where we can connect and use the modem? Where is it?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I want to see where it is, because I haven't found one. And there's a person who released Doom and this and that, but where's the source code?
It's lock and key, isn't it?
I was going to say, unfortunately, I think
if we're going to make online gaming a big thing, release all the source code to working servers, all the working ports that have been shown, that everyone has looked and gone, ooh, and release it, and let's work on an online game. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's pick up sticks or Flappy Bird.
Pick up sticks on the Dreamcast. Let's do it.
Online.
What's that thing called poo sticks?
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, online Connect 4 or whatever. But where is the code to compile so all of us can
Wordle
work?
Yeah.
You know, what in Callistos we've got a couple of little examples of the PP and the modem connect, but where's the logic and where's the lobby and where's the widgets and where's the keyboard and where's anything else that you need to actually make it? Well, I'm going to create my own infrastructure to port a game in my spare time, not being paid and acting like a full-time developer with a salary, so you can play online Pong.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would it. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, you all ask for the online thing, but where is the example? The furthest I've ever seen.
There's only one, isn't there? That that we know about.
Right.
But
and that's we can't use it.
Yeah.
Because he won't release the source code.
Of course.
So you can't use the binary that's built.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to all be quiet and wait for 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
I just want the example of it working with the lobby or with the whatever, and not BBA, because I can get BBA to work, but no one has one.
Yeah. That's the problem. Yeah, exactly. And I got to be honest, that does frustrate me as well, because I and James and other people have covered a certain game that we're not even meant to talk about, which is so frustrating, because all the time people are like, oh, where's...
Yeah, because the thing is, Al, with
Yes.
that one, Al, it's like I was saying earlier, the main console I use to play online is the Dreamcast. So whenever I go on any game, whether it be Alien Front Online, Planet Ring, Pod, anything, I always get asked the same question about a certain video that we made, that we found this certain game.
You can say what it is, James.
Okay, Quake World Yeah,
that right there. Yeah.
Yeah, is a game. Yeah, Quake World is a game that allows you to connect online with cross-play. So in one server, I had a PC, a Dreamcast, an Xbox original. Yeah. So basically, a Dreamcast 2 talking with a Dreamcast 1. Yeah. Linux, mobile phone, all connecting to this one server in America. So it wasn't even hosted anywhere. It was a Quake World server that I could put the IP address in, and it worked on all those setups. Yeah. I had Doom being played via the modem play, and also which is a dial-up, so the one that Ian was talking about, and the BBA version, all working fine. But because devs and other people that have their projects that aren't able to share or don't want to share or whatever, it halts everyone else adding, great online play. Because just think, Heroes of the Might and Magic 3, there's a prototype of that out there, or there's an unreleased leaked version of that out there. Online play with that would be the same as the PC version. Same with Postal, if they were able to get that modem, like Ian was saying, that modem part of the source code available to people, to share the work, So share the love for the Dreamcast. Because
maybe what we need is we're thinking a bit about this backwards, because one of the complaints I hear from people all the time is, the Dream Pie, that it's too hard to work out and all that, and it's not plug and play as it says. It's really not. But maybe the opposite. I mean, I don't know what tech would have to go behind it, but maybe there's someone like I bought recently for my GameCube a new component lead. So anyone that knows, the component lead for the GameCube makes it go out really crisp 240p, and it was only released in Japan, and they're really expensive to buy. But companies just made them, and they're like 40 quid or something, right? Is there one of these technical people that can make a BBA, like just an aftermarket broadband adapter, and we could all these problems? There's so many more people probably be more inspired knowing they can just plug that in, plug it into their broadband, put the game in. Oh, look, it's working.
Yeah.
Well, there's
all the Raspberry Pi stuff.
Well, there is people that have made what's known as a beer BBA or whatever it is. So it's a homemade broadband adapter for the Dreamcast. So they've made it within the community, and I don't know if they can share it or sell it and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. But I mean, there's games like someone commented, Propeller Arena, that is broadband enabled. And
it's already there. Yeah,
it's already built. The game is finished. It's done. And same, games like Quake 3 Arena, Unreal Tournament, Outrigger, BBA, they all work with BBA. But like Ian said, who's got one? And like Dan said as well, no one's got any of them. But if people like the Dream Pie, because yes, it's not plug and play. I got mine and I set up all my port forwarding, the DNS and all that sort of stuff. Trying to play Worms World Party against someone. Bloody hell. But if somebody could make the broadband adapter, which is an Ethernet thing, then just people have done it. So just once again, share the technology, share the love with everyone, so we can all just plug and play, because people have Dreamcasts, because people are watching this now. People are just talking about Dreamcast and making games for it. Why can't we all just get together and share and talk and get on, Yeah,
imagine all the games you could have, especially some of the recent ones. Like we've got Postal there, you've got Xeno Crisis, all these great games that would work really well, because they're quite, because the games themselves are easy to play. The games that pick up and play. Propeller Arena, another one. There's so many. So maybe that's it. Maybe we're crying out, rather than the devs worrying about will it work with a Raspberry Pi, maybe some company could actually produce some broadband adapters, and then a lot of these problems will go away.
It would.
Well said. I was going to say, surely that can't be a legality thing, can it? Because
Sega wouldn't care. They wouldn't care.
Exactly. I was going to say the amount of projects you see, but homebrews, etc., whatever, and Sega are always commenting them on saying like how awesome they think it is. So that's the difference between Sega and Nintendo. Nintendo would probably get you kicked off of YouTube or something, whereas Sega are just like, well, that's awesome. Come and build a game for us.
Like on just recently on the new C64 port of Sonic to the C64, and a real Sega came there and said, DCM remove time, only joking, great work. Right, from Sega. Go ahead. That's what they said.
Exactly. They just don't care, because they actually appreciate what people are doing with their licenses, etc. They're
Yeah.
not. People aren't going out to sell a lot of this stuff. Well, I don't think most of it's ever sold. It's just done as a passion project, and that's just showing the love we have for Sega stuff. Instead of being
they even showed on a Destructoid stream years ago. Sega even showed Sternwind, which obviously was like an unofficially unlicensed homebrew game. Sega showed it on their own stream.
Yeah.
So they just showed, they would not do if they. Do you know what? If someone made the broadband adapter and it all went a bit viral, that people were getting back online the Dreamcast, Sega would be like, "This is amazing! Everyone get on PSO right now!"
Absolutely, and I think. I don't want to say Dreamcast Mini because I just part of me thinks that it won't happen because, well, there would be an audience for it. Absolutely, there'd be an audience for it. But would we then obviously expect it to have online built into it? Because that then would be a way of people being able to play online, essentially on a quote-unquote Dreamcast, even though technically it's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say, sorry about that.
Go for it.
The Dreamcast was the first console to have a built-in modem. So why not have the
First
Dreamcast Mini with the first built-in modem? Yeah, like
yeah. For the first Mini that actually allows you to play, like I mean, one of the things I love is going on my Switch and you've got like Super Mario Brothers and you can do 2-player games and stuff, can't you? Like automatically, or play 2-player games on your SNES emulator. And that's amazing tech, right? So do you know what? As much as we laugh at things like the Dreamcast Mini, now wouldn't that be amazing if Sega? Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a little Ethernet port on the back, and we're going to allow you to play the online games on this online and download the Sonic VMU stuff and all that kind of stuff. That'd be well cool.
And have an online store to download all our homebrew.
Wow!
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's go raid Sega's right now. Let's go to the head office.
And of course, Dan, we can make really bad ports because they run on the eliminators.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and it's even easier. I've got a few ports that will not run on real hardware, but they run super nice on.
Brilliant on.
Hey, look, we've got people in the chat. People in the chat are saying about the Atomis Wave LAN modems. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what we need to do. The people that are obviously working their way around all these things, we need them to go, do you know what? There might be would there be a market? But they'd obviously have to test it. But I'd say, anyway, it's a dream, isn't it? It's a dream.
It's a dream.
Oh, well, it's worth thinking about. I'm saying that the BBA part is much easier to add than the modem connect.
Yeah.
So it's like there'd be a heap of homebrew now with BBA support. There's even some that have it that you don't even know about. They still have. There's
I can imagine.
Yeah, I removed all the network code out of Radquake because there was no use. It was just polluting the binary, making it larger, and there was no reason to have it. But some of the first versions had working BBA support. I didn't have a BBA. I had 2 people test it. They said, "Oh, it works." Well, that's like 18 years ago. But what I'm saying is, it was never our online thing was never a big deal because no one really cared, and no one had a BBA. But when the DreamPi come along, you'll think, "Oh, okay, I'm going to get Modem Connect." But where's the Modem Connect examples that actually work with a game? I'm not talking about examples that work in Caution and goes connected. I'm talking about all the infrastructure, the logic, how to make that work, how to do all that. Okay, well, I have to be a brainiac and invent it myself, but you'd have to have a passion for it. I do not have a passion for creating an online game, but if there was the infrastructure where I could add it to something, then I might consider it. But I'm not going to spend months on doing it. I don't even have a working online setup because I'm telling you, I've never played online games because in Australia we had a modem with 28K if you were lucky, and the experience on Dreamcast was substandard even then, and everything would drop out, and I had to pay 30 cents every time it dropped out.
Really?
On the modem,
call it back up, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
In Australia, it was 30 cents every time it dropped out. 30 cents. So and that's not even talking about the cost of the ISP and the internet. I mean, So
there's a 28K and there's a 33K. There you go. There's a Dreamcast
Yeah.
modems for you. So yeah, cool. Also, sorry, I just had some spare. You know,
There you go. Cool.
it's got a couple spare.
But
you
like
know,
you said,
so-
if there was, like Retroface said, if there was some
Yeah.
sort of homebrew replacement, like they have GDEMU, you know, someone made that. If for
Yeah.
the BBA,
Yeah.
yeah,
then all of us can start adding retrospectively, even to old homebrew BBA support.
And
Even
they'd
for
all have to
media-
be called for matching service. They'd all have to be called that, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Because then
And
it would
even
make the distinction. Because you imagine if you got like Rush Rally as a great game that everyone loves, it's one of the best homebrew games we've had. Imagine that if Rush Rally, Rush, all of a sudden, but with broadband support, so you
Yeah.
can play it
Yeah.
online. That'd be amazing, especially for the collectors as well.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
and you're not having to do the code and the logic to have like dial-up speeds and limit things and like that. When you've got the actual performance, because making a game work with dial-up speed, you're going to have to lock the frame rate very low. You're not going to be doing 60 frames a second on homebrew on that sort of thing like that. It's not going to work.
No.
So you got if you Doom you were talking about. I mean, it makes it crawl even on that, but that's because it's locking the frame rate. And same with Quake. Quake locks the frame rate when you go online. But if we had BBA support and run it, you wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. To be fair, we played through the entire first episode on Doom actually,
we did.
and it played pretty well actually. To be fair,
Well,
Yeah, but it wasn't playing full speed like it does on a single player.
absolutely not.
But it's because we mucked about with the settings, though, didn't we? And if we had selected one of the other ones, it would have ran a bit better. But we was just mucking about, if anything, to get it working. And I think I rushed downstairs, didn't I? And said, "We got
You
it."
did.
I like that person from Ghostbusters and said, "We got one. And we got it working." So,
I want to see a meme now of James going, "We got one with big Dreamcast on his face."
I mean, Faith, I did that video for you where I did the Evercade opening because you said it on a last stream. So I might have to do
That
this
was
one now.
brilliant.
Do it. You've got to do that now. Oh,
Okay.
We
Jesus
got
Christ.
one. Yeah, maybe when someone releases the first indie broad BBA game, you can have James going, "We got one."
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, James, if you haven't done that by tomorrow, I'm going to be upset, mate.
I'll record something for you. I mean, I will give it a go. I'll see what we do. I've pre-recorded it, so I'll look like I am now with House of the Dead in the background, and say because it's spooky, because Ghostbusters theme. So I'll do it.
Absolutely. So the next question I'm going to ask Dan is, what have you actually got lined up next? Because obviously I did see a tweet, I think it was possibly yesterday or the day before, about... well, you can tell us what it was about. Go on.
Yeah, that's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. No,
Oh,
unfortunately.
come on, man.
Yeah, we had a discussion with the company today, and they were great. They're really nice and polite. But
Okay.
I think for what I want to achieve with my next projects, I really need to be working with my own IP. And it's going to be a Resident Hill style game.
Ooh.
It is going to be a survival horror.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm looking at doing pre-rendered backgrounds using Unreal Engine 5.
Oh.
So
That'd be
Wow.
great.
Okay. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What spurred that on then? What are you a big survival horror fan?
yeah, very much so. Very much so.
So you're
Love
into
all that
Resident Evil and
kind of
everything.
stuff. Oh yeah, of course. You know, having
Yeah.
my last name and all that. You know.
Oh yeah.
Makes sense. Good point.
But no, I'm a big horror fan. Yeah, big horror fan, and I don't know. It just kind of made sense. You know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean-
there's not too much I can say about the specifics at the moment, but it's going to be a bit messed up.
Oh.
It's not going to be for
Ooh.
kids.
That's
Oh.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Not all games are for kids. Let's put it that way. Us adults have got to have stuff too, you know. That's the thing is, it bugs me a little when you get games that come out that, well, I shouldn't say I hate games that are aimed at kids, but, and I guess they have a wider audience for it, but sometimes it feels like they try and make it a little bit kind of on the border, if that makes sense, so that it can reach. It's the same with films.
It's the whole thing.
Yes, correct. It's exactly the same, and it's like the thing is, adults have the money. Well, not always have the money, but adults are the primary source of spending a lot of the money. So why are we not focusing necessarily on creating these adult films, because that would be porn. these 15 or 18 rated thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it seems like sometimes adults get forgotten in gaming, because you see these Fortnite games, you see, and to be fair, yes, they make a metric ton of money, and I do get that, but you got to remember that it's the adults paying for that. So, but then again, I mean, games like Resident Evil, all that wouldn't be getting these remakes if they didn't think about us. So I guess I'm talking myself out of my own argument, but I don't know. I don't know.
Not
Does
so
anyone
many,
else
though,
agree
is
with
there?
that? Or...
You know, there's not that many of them these days. Sorry, Faith, go on.
No, I was just going to think. I think Al. The thing is, maybe you're arguing about like very modern gaming history. It's aimed at younger people because, let's be honest, they're the ones with the time to invest in it. So, but I think indie games for older consoles, they probably are aimed at a target audience much older, aren't they? So, you know, I can't imagine that there'd be much. You know, if there was a new like Pokemon or some, maybe not Pokemon, a good example, but if there was like a new Barbie game or something that someone was going to release on Dreamcast, I don't think it would get much traction, would it? If it was released on the Switch, it would sell in millions. So,
of course,
maybe it's more that's it. Where, so yeah, I think you know. I think there's a good mix of games for children and adults.
Yeah. Dan, did you want to say something before that? Because I think you were about to say something.
That's as Faith says, that there is. I think it's an okay mix. You know, I mean, but then I'm coming from the perspective of someone who is agony unrated.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you know, my tastes might be a little bit more extreme. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you'll find out soon enough with that next game. Yeah.
What platform did you say that's going to be on?
Oh, it's going to be Dreamcast.
PS5 and everything.
Oh no, I'm going to be using Unreal Engine 5 for the pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But
on the Dreamcast.
It's Dreamcast. Yeah.
Yes.
That's fantastic, Dan. I'm looking forward to that.
VQ textures for the win. My God, VQ textures. Yeah. What would I do with that?
If you need any bad voice acting, I can do it for you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, do it. Yes.
You're all in.
You've got to have. I was going to say you've got to have a cast of people who are in the Dreamcast scene on that game as voiceovers. Come on,
I'm absolutely for that.
I'll do it. No worries.
Definitely.
I was going to say literally everyone on this stream is already signed up, and we'll do it. It'll be absolutely amazing.
Cool. That's going to save some money on the voice artist, isn't it? So
I think we'll have to pay you.
I was going to say you'd probably have to pay us to be on it, or we pay you. Sorry, yeah.
You have to pay us to be on it.
So Ian,
you have to do that about 18 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Ian, what have you got coming up at the moment? I mean, obviously there's certain things you can't talk about, but there's any stuff you can talk about? Or not really?
Building tool chain.
Right. Okay. That's where you're spending most of your life at the moment.
Yeah, until that's done, there's nothing really can do. I mean, I've got all my other projects on the side, but they're all on hold because I'm working on Open Lara.
Oh yes, yes.
So that's the main thing, but I do need a Linux toolchain to be reliable to work on that because it's not Callistos, it's Libron.
Right. I was going to say
we have it now with PC assets and larger maps and rendering the full motion video. Just have to add CD music and a few other things, but I can't do much because I can't build it right now.
I mean, that does pose an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was going to say, I did see I think you sent me a screenshot. Was it a screenshot of how Tomb Raider's now looking? And
Yep.
I cannot deny it's looking good. It really, really is. I think Tomb Raider is one that people always, when they've had different copies of Bleem or whatever, they're like, let's try Tomb Raider, see if that works. And it's never worked, if I remember rightly. And
Not
now we're
properly.
seeing, yeah, exactly. And now we're seeing it the way it's going to be coming is quite something. I can't deny it. I mean, do we think that then spurs on that we're going to see Tomb Raider 2, 3, whatever? What do you reckon? Can that happen?
Well, or right now, it's already pushing the RAM limit with
Right.
the PC assets right now.
Okay.
The PS1 assets weren't pushing it, but the PC assets, they actually saved a lot of CPU time because the PS1 assets were actually being upscaled on the CPU as they were being rendered, and they were actually taking a lot of time. Now that we're rendering direct, like the right texture, the speed went up to 60 frames a second just with that. So,
Right.
you know, on the rendering the PS1 assets, you were wasting a whole lot of time just upscaling textures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't say much more because it's Megavolt's been doing all this and passing me the binaries. I want to build it myself and start working on it. So
Yeah.
I've been working on the mod sides. I even had like Castlevania Tomb Raider with inside a mansion and stuff. I've been working on mods. I even had adult Link from Zelda flipping around in there, and you got a Link model. You've seen that? I think I showed you that. I've got Link from Zelda in Tomb Raider. I'd like to actually create a game in Tomb Raider using the engine, but completely original.
That's a good idea.
That's Megavolt thinks that's a good idea too, because we have an engine that's 3D rendering. It's battle tested. There's a whole bunch of tools to create the mods for it, and it's open source, also like that, so people can create their own style mods. I mean, you can in the Tomb Raider engine, you can create basically anything.
Maybe Dan could use a little bit of that then to do his horror game.
I think he wants
That's
to
true.
do it professionally.
I could, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though. I suppose if there's someone who
He could. It would look very. It wouldn't look like he wants it to look. I mean, you're still limited by the Tomb Raider classic engine. You know how many rooms, how many this, how many that, the screens and all that sort of stuff. I mean, but you could make a really nice 3D platforming game that has nothing to do with Tomb Raider in it, and with breakable walls and blocks and huge bosses and stuff like that. But I don't think it's really suited to pre-rendered backgrounds. And once you start doing that, I mean, it's not like a pre-rendered background. It's like a platform 3D engine. So it would feel a bit. I mean, we do have the full first-person mode where it's like Granddaddy. You've seen that too. It's like Granddaddy Mirror's Edge. So you can sort of make it FPS as well. I think you could probably do a sort of Resident Evil first-person game in it, but it's still going to be more clunky than what Dan's talking about, having beautiful pre-rendered backgrounds. And the best thing I liked about the best thing I liked about the first Resident Evil was that it gave you enough time to get scared. And a lot of the new games, they're just hordes of enemies coming at you and stuff like that. But I like the fact that it was empty for a while, and then all of a sudden, something to break through or something like that. The constant fighting zombie hordes thing, I don't think. I'd like more adventure looking, and then the thing pops out and scares you or something. Not just this constant barrage of things, and it's like a bug killing. It's like in Quake, where the Quake engine, where it's basically you just killing hordes of bugs. You just enemy, mow them down. And a lot of survival horror seems to have gone towards that. But I like a build up where you get to explore, get to find things. The story progresses. there is a a genuine scare when you're not expecting it, not just hordes of minutes. So anyway, so I'm excited for something like that where there's actually an explore and feeling like you're in a world where you actually are surviving. You don't have 7,000 trillion bullets or something like that. Where I think we've got away from survival horror. The later versions seem to be just kill fests. Zombie, kill. And they still call it survival horror, but in the originals, you couldn't just start shooting the wall because you felt like it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You had to. Survival horror was an actual thing, and I think it's gone away from that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And you can kind of see. I mean, actually, I suppose when you look at Resident Evil 7, I mean, it is, or 8. I mean, I think it's a different type of game almost. To like 1, 2, and 3 or whatever. 4, I absolutely hate. Now, I hate Resident Evil 4. I know most people look at me when I say that and they're like, "Are you actually kidding me? That's one of my favorite." But I just don't.
I hate it as well.
I love it. I love it.
No, you don't. You lie.
I do. I like it on the Wii. I like it better on the Wii than the GameCube.
Oh, you're actually being serious? Oh, Christ! I thought you were joking.
No, it's good on the Wii.
Well, yeah, I just don't like it. But yeah, for me, I love the older style where it is literally pre-rendered backgrounds, and like you said, it's
what I like.
It's quiet. You don't know really what is going on, and then all of a sudden, a window smashes and a dog jumps through, or something like that.
Yeah,
that is, and because obviously the sound is amplified as soon as that window smashing, etc. But that to me, that is what's James got there. That to me is more of a jump than is. What the hell is that? Oh, the game version of. Oh, Christ. That is gotta be bad.
Still sealed.
Good.
Keep it sealed.
Keep it sealed.
Burn it.
Yeah, it's awful. It's really bad.
Yeah,
Just like the new film as well.
I had not seen it.
You are in for a treat.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say.
Honestly,
I was almost like, really? Is he actually good?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, do you know what? I don't like dumping on people's work. I don't. I mean, who am I to do that? But I watched it the other. I think it was 2 nights ago now with my wife Julie, and when it finished, it was just like, I wish we'd put on the old ones instead.
Yeah,
we've got those in 4K. I mean, I know they're dreadful, but they're a guilty pleasure, and then some. But I just the whole time I was watching that film, it's just like the whole thing is like, and I understand that reference fest,
Yeah,
it's just fan service after fan service after fan service, and I just kept thinking I'd rather play the games instead.
To me, though, in regards to the films, I think the animated ones are actually pretty decent. What do you think? Do you like them? Hate them? Oh dear.
I can't even. I've seen 2 of them. One which is in Eastern Europe, and one that starts out in the airport. Or is that the same one?
That is.
I honestly can't remember.
I think you've mixed 1 and 3. I think.
Okay, I'm missing the one in the middle.
Way, then. Yeah. I think they're all right. But yeah, nothing's ever going to come close to the original games. We all know that. So I've got a statement here for Ian, because obviously Ian found his Dreamcast and I think a VMU in a bin before. Is that right? Or a skip?
Yes, on the side of the road. On the side of the road in the council pickup.
And the question is, have you found anything else?
Yes.
Go on.
A Sony Hi-Fi MIDI, from 2002, and so, but I don't pick up things like that anymore because of the the crazy C cell virus around. So I don't bother going into picking up things, and I don't pick up that. I wouldn't have done it now. Like I see lots of things on the side of the road, and I'm like, oh well, they can stay there.
Yeah. And according to James, Yeah, go on.
Yeah, even I don't like to go into secondhand stores and stuff like that because you don't really know that most of that stuff was donated from some person's house that just died. I know.
That is true. To be fair, yeah, you don't really know.
I
Where
mean, sometimes it turns over really quick at Goodwill. It can be in somebody's house one day and be in the front store the next day. I mean, it might be silly, but it just feels funny in this day and age to go in and look at things that are not cleaned or whatever. I don't look at it like I used to. Stuff that's on the side of the road, and I should have years ago, because this particular Dreamcast actually was full of cockroaches.
No way.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. So when I turned it on, they all warmed up, and they started.
Sure, it wasn't a bunch of choo-choos.
Yeah, they started flying out of it everywhere, out of the vent holes. So that's one thing I didn't mention. But yeah, picking up electronics and stuff like that is not always a good idea.
No, I was going to say I saw who was it? A video. Is it 8-Bit Guy? I'm sure some people might know who that is. Maybe
David Murray.
That's the guy. Yeah, he picked up I think it was an original Nintendo, but it was on the highway or something. And I can't remember if it worked straight away, but he got it working really, really quickly. And it's surprising how robust these older systems are, because I'm sure if you threw a PS5 out the window, it would probably smash to pieces and it probably wouldn't work. Whereas these older systems just seem to work, don't they?
This Dreamcast still works. There's nothing wrong with it. It looks like trash.
Go on, let's have a look. Have you got it there? Go on.
Yeah, I'll hold it up again. I have to take the serial cable out.
Is that the one with the bat sticker on the front?
There it is. That was in the trash. Someone painted it.
Ooh.
And there and there and look there, and yeah, but it's fine. I mean, it's got some flames on the side.
Hey.
Yeah,
I love that.
That is great.
And the lid is so broken it doesn't fully open because of the way they threw it on the ground. But it works. You see, it's got a saggy lid. Doesn't really open full. So, but it's fine. It stays on. I pulled the modem out because I was going to do something, trying to get online stuff again, and it doesn't work. But anyway, so that's it.
That is amazing. I mean, that's just really, really early modding, really, isn't it?
I mean, who knows who did it? But it's like sprayed with some matte black, like Walmart paint can, and some stickers on it. It was, some poor little. I don't know if they were little. They might have been a big guy, because I'm in the hood here. So someone threw it out, and it actually had the controller as well, and it was a blue skeleton controller. But someone had jumped on half of it, so it was like cracked. So it was that exact one there, and but I didn't take that home because it was half smashed. But I mean, when I put it home, it was full of water. Right. So I just put it on a towel, put a hairdryer and stuff like that, and opened it up. But then I didn't realize it had all those cockroach eggs in the bottom of the motherboard. So
I can't believe that.
When it turned on, I mean, after a couple of months, I seen all them running around. I was like, "What's going on? What's going on, dude?" So watch out for old electronics that have been in houses with roach infestations, because when you turn them on, it heats them up and they get big.
Now we're playing with mega power.
Yeah.
Last process cockroaches.
Cockroach powered Dreamcast right here.
Jesus. Well, there's a lot of love, I must say, coming through for the Resident Evil fan base here. A lot of people are saying, jeez, a lot of people are saying that they love the idea, obviously, of people love that pre-rendered style, and it's good that we're going to see more and more of that style.
Up on the chair.
Oh God, here we go. What's he doing? Where's he going?
I was just going to say, that's my favorite console.
Your Saturn.
Yes, that's my favorite. and that's because I
That
was
one
still
runs
young
from
enough-
earwigs, not cockroaches.
Yeah, no, this one's actually a clean machine. But this was the reason why I liked Saturn is I was still young enough to have no cares and play games. And so when I play that, that reminds me of the times when I didn't have anything to do, no job to go to, and it was, yeah, I'm gonna have a gaming session. So that's why I love that one. You know, if you remember that, there was no problems. You know, so that's why I love the Saturn, because that's what it reminds me of back in the 90s. Yeah.
That's awesome.
With the Resident Evil side of things, Al. Speaking of the Dreamcast, Resident Evil, the animation was my first VCD for the Dreamcast, because I had the adapter and the remote control, and that was my first actual VCD for the Dreamcast. So
really?
yeah, that's the first time I saw the Resident Evil animation. So yeah, it was on a VCD, a genuine one as well. I purchased it from Japan or Luxon or whatever it was. Yeah, a genuine one.
I take it you don't have it with you there right now.
It probably is somewhere.
Oh, don't worry. I was going to say your wall of stuff is so big, I won't worry about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's awesome, though. I didn't know that.
He is having a bit of the bubbly.
Oh, God, he's on the wine now. Watch out.
All right.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, God.
An hour and a half in.
Yeah, hour and a half in, yeah. So the next question I've got is, I mean, obviously you guys have probably pretty much already answered this anyway. What new Dreamcast titles could we be seeing come soon? What ports? It's kind of more, what would we want to see come to the system? And I'll start with Faith.
What I'd want to see come to the system. There's so many great. I mean, I'm actually on this hunt at the moment. I do a lot of work with indie gamers, not for modern systems and stuff, through my work and that. And I'm always going, that would be great on Dreamcast. And I go to a couple of publishers, and there's so many. The great thing about all this Unity stuff and everything, it translates so well to the Dreamcast. But what I want to see on the Dreamcast is more, like Dan was explaining, actual Dreamcast 3D games. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love all the pixel art games that come out, but a lot of them are like Mega Drive games, aren't they? They're not, or NES. I want an actual 3D Dreamcast game, like Xenocyder. I want someone to do that.
Absolutely.
A bit like what we got with the Strikers coming out. It's actually like actual 3D game. Don't get me wrong. I love all the pixel art games that all the devs do. I lap them up. Absolutely love them. All brilliant. But I think I'd really want someone to actually do, I don't know, like, Xenocyder was great because it was a bit like Space Harrier. But maybe, I don't know, maybe like some sort of, maybe like if Ian gets the Tomb Raider one sorted out, so maybe some devs could start, like a 3D platform game or something, Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, 3D
good
games.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, to be fair. I think we're missing games where they are literally specifically
I just want to be fair that the port is by High Stat. I'm just working on and modding it. The original port's by High Stat. So don't get it mixed up. High Stat did the port.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to say that, and so people cannot think it was me who ported it. I'm working on it, but High Stat.
Well, but you're still making a big part of that work, Ian. So you got to keep doing it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but I always refer to and give credit to the original porter and developers.
And so we should.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. James.
Hello.
Come on. You're like, where are we?
I'm on the big screen. No, I'd like some isometric games, like RPG games, like the Ultima series, some of the older Ultima games. But if we're talking about like ports, I would like some arcade ports, like Model 2, Model 3 games to be ported over. Like the games that got cancelled for the Dreamcast, like Emergency Call Ambulance and Jumbo Safari. They made themselves onto the Wii. It was going to be a multi-pack for the Dreamcast. So some arcade games, because I like playing the Dreamcast whilst I'm standing up here like an arcade machine. So arcade games for me. So anything that can be ported over, that's an arcade, because I know the Model 3 has the source code out there, but I don't know how reliable it is, because Scud Racer was found parts of it. So just anything like that at all for me.
Nice work, James. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Now, Dan, obviously, I mean, being that you could probably port it yourself anyway, what else would you want to see on the system?
Do you know what? I want to see a Panzer Dragoon. You know, I'd love to see some more on the rail stuff come out. I love all that old school on the rail stuff, or maybe another Ikaruga style shooter for people who are insane and love intense stuff like that.
That's not an easy game.
And maybe Duke Nukem.
Oh,
Yes, good point that you mentioned that, because did you not say that you were possibly going to do that?
Yep, I've started it.
You've already started it. Interesting. Interesting. That I cannot wait to see. Okay, right. Well, the one thing I've got to ask then, how far are you along with it?
Okay, so you've got start and the end. I'm kind of like right here.
Right at the start, basically. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be like. I mean, Postal has been essentially my whole spare time for the last 12, 13 months now. You know, it's been a lot of work, and I don't really want to. I don't want to put that much effort in again for a hobbyist port. You know, I want to work on my own game primarily, but there are going to be times when I'm going to get sick to death of it, and that's where I want my other backup projects, so to speak, to fit in. And that's where Duke comes in. I was going to give Alien versus Predator a go, but Ian, there's a bit of a challenge going on there. He doesn't think it's possible. I think it could be, but it probably won't be worth it.
Oh God, you know it would.
It's too fast. It's too fast paced. You know, you've only got that one stick. I think with the Dreamcast pads, in terms of first-person shooters, I think it'd be more suited for something like Metroid Prime. You know, which only used the one stick for movement on the GameCube anyway. I mean, I have been going through the code, and I think it could be doable in some way, but it's a lot of effort. And the FMV video on the textures, you know, for like the TV screens, just terrifies me.
Right?
Yeah, that's scary.
It's the one. Well, actually, it's not the only game. There's literally
Duke Nukem 3D. Duke Nukem 3D is hard enough. The only person who ever ported it was Bureau, who came from the planet Mars. And so, and if you look at his code, you spooky things close up. His code is not really ported to the Dreamcast. It's ported to Linux, and then he writes like a layer that works on the Dreamcast, and he has like ASM, SH4 ASM from who knows where that is doing stuff that doesn't compile, not compile, and he has special patches for NewLib that are from 2003 that don't exist anymore, and that he made updates to, especially so that the file system can talk to the Dreamcast. So the source code that he put out, which I have, you'd have to channel Bureau, your inner Bureau, if you wanted to port it. So, and that's scary. It's a scary thing when you look at Bureau's code. It's very scary. It's scary. Trust me, Mr. Neo 240 can agree with me. It's scary. So the best thing to do is start from the absolute beginning. Like his source code anyway was like the first ever build released. It's like early, full of bugs, whatever. And it's not even the full everything. So you've got to start with an updated source code. But when you start with that, then you've got updated APIs. You've got updated things that don't exist. One of them was like some version of, I think it was like Open AL sound or something, and that was why Chili Willy didn't port Aliens vs Predator to Dreamcast, because the sound API he couldn't get it to work, and then it was using too much RAM, and then it's like Quake 2. I mean, I can get Quake 2 to run as soon as you enable the sound, it crashes because there's no more space.
Right.
And so some of these things to port in their current form. I mean, rewriting the engine and doing what Dan did and rewriting the whole back end and the renderer and doing all the logic and making it so it actually fits in RAM and everything. That's a crazy amount of work. That's a year to see a personal free port running on a system, and then the users go, oh, great. And then they go, what's the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's a lot of curios, isn't it? And I'm always so sorry in awe of everything you guys do, because I'll never have the technical ability to hold it all in my brain. But it is sad when someone does something amazing, and then the first question is, can you do this instead? And it's like, look at the effort they put in. Like, acknowledge the brilliance here, and please play it. You know?
Yeah, they don't. It's what's next? What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? As soon as you do something, it's what's next, or can I add this feature or that feature? And I was looking at open menu for the GDEMU. Mr. Neo 240's done that, and I mean, it's amazing the open menu that is done now, and everything's working now and everything's great on it. It's a replacement for the normal menu. And the first person just asked, well, can I have sound in the menu? Can I have this in the menu? I said to him, you're getting a good point when they're asking to add sound in the menu or this in the menu, because they're not talking about all the other bugs, because there isn't any. So when they are talking about, does the sound work, or can I add a dingle dangle berry when it comes on or something, you're getting to a good spot.
It's the title of my next game.
Yeah. Dingle dangle berry.
Yeah, I mean,
Duke Nukem 3D is not an easy port at all. There's a whole lot of memory reads and writes that are not Dreamcast compatible for a start. I mean, when I ported Hexen, it took me, I think, 2 months. And the biggest thing is that all the memory reads are unaligned and they don't align. So it worked on eliminators perfectly. But then on the Dreamcast, I had to go through a bunch of stuff that just to get it to run. And when I got that to run, I nearly had a breakdown. I was like, oh, now it's working. And I haven't revisited it, to finish the port. So there comes to a point where you get burnout. The last 10 or 20% of a port is actually ridiculous amount of work to get that last little bit, to get it up and running. You get excited about it. You get, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, going to do that. And then the last little bit can be a total pain. And so I haven't revisited. When I spent months and months on debug going through, and you see the throws back, kernel panic, blah, blah, a bunch of numbers. And it was just day after day of that porting Hexen, day after day after day. And people can think, oh, you're over-exaggerating it. But no, I was spending 8 hours a day on it because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I was. But who would do that? I mean, come on. That's not something you'll do. And then, of course, it's unfinished now. It plays well. Sound works for the things, and it's a good frame rate and all that like that. But I have to add saving. The saving has to turn into compressed saving because it doesn't fit on the VMU. The PC saving is too big. I have to add the music files and stuff. They're not compatible, so I have to rewrite that. And so that's the last little bit to do. But I can't bring myself, with a gun to do the last little bit right now.
Right.
And it's because it almost makes me throw up in my mouth thinking about doing it. So that'll tell you what it's like sometimes when you port something. The code, someone say port this and port that, and then you look at the code, and the code's like, this is horrible. This code is absolutely, this makes me sick looking at it.
Yeah, and I think again that's again what we don't realise is because we don't know what goes into it. Is we can say we would like to see this, we would like to see that, but there's no way. We'd look at it and be like, what the flip is that? But whereas even you're looking at it and going, what? Why? What am I meant to do with that? So yeah, it's fine for us all to say we've got wants and all that, but it's not, like you said, it's not a simple thing. I mean, we all know the couple games. There's 2 games every time I stream, and people are talking about what they want ported. It's always, you can probably guess what they are: Max Payne and GTA 3. Every
GTA 3,
single time, it's always GTA 3 Max Payne, because obviously there was the rumors that GTA 3 and Max Payne or whatever were gonna be coming out at some point, and then obviously disappeared off the face of the planet, and now you can't find anything about it. And that's obviously because GTA 3 is such a big, well, GTA as a whole is a massive thing. And then to see that working on the Dreamcast would just make people lose it. But obviously, I'm sure there's so many legalities around releasing GTA 3 on something without Rockstar saying, "Yeah, go for it." And the same with Max Payne. It's two games that people think could work, but whether it would be allowed is another thing entirely. And the other one is, what's the other one I bang on about all the time? Alien Trilogy. Love Alien Trilogy. Like, obviously we've seen it on the Saturn, PS1, PC. Where's the Dreamcast for? Is now, Ian, you probably already know, is that something that just isn't possible?
Well, there's no real source code to it.
Right.
I mean, I tried to recreate it the most I could in Radquake. That was what I tried to do.
And I appreciate that, because that is a really good title. If you haven't played, what did you call it? Quake Aliens or Aliens Quake or whatever it was, the revision you did is incredible. It's such an incredible game. Because did you actually go and make more of the levels?
Yes.
Because some of those I'd obviously never seen before.
They're new. Yeah, I rebuilt every level, but all the levels are rebuilt and optimized so they fit into the RAM of the Dreamcast. I also wrote a new system in there. It's like mid mapping, where it saves RAM as you go close to a wall. It loads in, and when you go away, it unloads a different texture. And anyway, it was just something. Remember, I said I was going to do it for you.
I know, and I do honestly, I genuinely appreciate it. It's a bloody hard game.
It took me about 2 months to learn Quake mapping and the tools for Quake mapping, and then, then I was on Dump Truck DS. He has everything about Quake mapping. Mapping. So actually learning the tools and doing all that was a huge steep learning curve just to do that. So, but I already had the engine because Radquake's final. So I already had the engine. I already had, it does everything. Dreamcast, keyboard, mouse, VMU, Rumble Pack, shows the people on the screen, CD music, and it's stable. You can leave it 24 hours and it won't crash. So I got to that point where I thought, okay, I'll start making a game on it. And you said you wanted an Aliens game. So there you go.
No, genuinely, I do really appreciate that. And that just shows that it's a passion project for you. Obviously, otherwise you wouldn't put all this time into it. And then you're actually listening to the fans out there, and you're putting all of this time into it. And a lot of the time, like, obviously you have a Patreon, don't you? I believe.
Yes.
Yes. So obviously, I would say everyone watching, back his Patreon. And I don't know if Dan, do you have Patreon, or is this pure? You don't even have a Patreon. So this is it. A lot of you guys aren't really making anything from doing it. It's all passion. And even the Patreon, let's face it, is probably not even covering the costs of your CDRs you're burning all the time. No. I can imagine. Exactly. So if anyone can back it, please do back Ian. Back all of the developers you can, especially in the Dreamcast community, because it's going to breed, I wouldn't say better content, because everything we're getting is amazing, but it's going to breed more content. Mad Dog is in the house as well, saying it's great. Love Ian's Aliens mod. See, there you go. And it honestly, genuinely is fantastic. And we got one last question, or one kind of statement or thing people keep saying is, can we see games like Command and Conquer, and also they're saying StarCraft? Do we think something like that could come to the Dreamcast? Is that possible?
I'm looking into Red Alert already. There was when EA released the Command and Conquer updates. Was it 2 years ago now? I think they released a lot of the game logic source code, not the engine source code for the rendering, the sound, all that kind of thing. But they did release a lot of the logic source code with it for people to do mods. And I think we can do something with that. But time.
Yes, that's true. It's all down to time, isn't it? And like you said, we appreciate everything you do, but obviously you still have a life to lead outside of doing it. So
and a baby,
and that's what I was about to say. And you've got a really small baby, so
8.5 months. So.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. I was gonna say you sent me the picture you sent me, and it's a cute kid.
He is awesome. Yeah. Smelly, but awesome.
And your chinchillas have woken up as well.
Oh God! Hello.
There's one running around.
I wanted to
Charlie.
ask what's in the cages.
Yeah, that's Charlie and Shimmer. Shimmer's a snotty cowbag. Yeah, she's not coming out to play. Charlie's awesome.
That is
Sorry.
awesome. No, that's no.
Oh,
problem.
there is a message there. Yeah, Ian got a well-deserved shout in Sega Powered. Yes, everyone go and buy Sega Powered right now.
Yes, buy Sega Power.
Absolutely do that. And
I'm going to show something. I'm going to show something.
Everyone.
No.
Here we go.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to share. I'm in it.
Let's have a look.
Is
Come
it my first article in a dedicated Sega mag? Yay!
There you go.
Well done. Well done.
And this is exactly it. This is what we're talking about with the Sega community. It's all built around the love for the product. Like, don't get me wrong, Nintendo's Nintendo, but Sega's better, I think, anyway. We all think it.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about Sega.
It absolutely is. So
just don't join the Sonic fan base. They're just nutters.
why are they nutters?
They just hate everything. You go to like Sonic Facebook groups and it's like, I hate this, I hate that. Why does Sonic do this? Why don't the makers do that? And she's like, oh, just shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen that.
Just get on with it and appreciate it, isn't it? Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. So obviously I want to thank, we're going to wrap it up now because we've been going for nearly 2 hours. I just want to say thank you for, yes, literally we're hitting nearly 2 hours now. So I want to thank everyone that's come on. I want to thank Retro Faith, James from ItsMuchMore, Ian Michael, and Dan Redfield. You've all been amazing. Do you all want to plug your channels, or do you want to just tell us a bit before we go? We'll start with Retro Faith.
The only thing I'd like to plug is the magazine's Fusion Retro magazine. It's on a Patreon, like a monthly multi-format magazine. One of the only multi-format magazines out there. So I'll plug that.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And obviously, remember your streams on a Thursday.
Oh, and if you like PSO, Wednesdays and Thursdays we have a PSO guild night, but it is on a GameCube. Yeah,
that's fine.
Same game though, same game.
Exactly. No, thank you very much for Retro Faith and coming on today. And James.
Hello.
I
haven't got nothing really to plug because I'm very inactive at the moment, but I want to say happy birthday to Crazy Taxi. That was released, I think it's 20 odd years ago today in Japan. So happy birthday, Crazy Taxi. That's it really. My channel's inactive, but I'm always around on various social platforms, other people's live streams. So yeah, great stuff.
I will interrupt you there because you are not inactive because you do a stream every month for the Evercade community. Is that right?
That is right. Yes. So every month you're my second in command on there. So every month, doesn't matter what day, it's normally a Thursday. We talk about everything Evercade. So we get devs on, we get talking about what's happening, new carts, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's a regular fixture on my channel. So yeah, that's something to look forward to as well. But I'm trying to churn out as many videos as I can regarding a new Model 2 emulator thing, that setup that I've got, because I've got 2 monitors. So if you like things like Sega Rally, Daytona, Manx TT, if you walk past them in an arcade, you may like videos that are coming up on my channel.
Thank you very much, James, and thanks for being on today.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's no problem at all, mate.
Thank you.
Ian, up above me, Ian.
Yes, I would like to plug Games Re-Up here.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Games Re-Up and Retro Faith and James. I'd like to plug
everyone.
Yeah, all these people here are great, and I'd like to plug Dan there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that way. There we go.
If you put Ian Michael Dreamcast into YouTube, it'll find me somewhere.
Absolutely. I was going to say you're doing quite a lot of videos. You seem to every time you're working on something, you do put out a little video, don't you, showing exactly what the progress
little
is.
bit here and there. And sometimes I do blowing off steam and do characters and stuff. You know.
Oh yes. Yeah, I saw one the other day, and I was like, I think that Ian's lost it.
Yeah.
He's been locked in that room too long.
Yeah, it is a tiny room. I'm locked in. So.
Yeah, no, thanks, Ian, for coming on today. I really appreciate everything you do for the Dreamcast community, and obviously everyone I would love to have back on the next stream. But yeah, obviously, Ian, thanks for coming on today as well. Thank you very much. And Dan.
Hi.
Before we go.
I don't really have anything to plug, really, to be
Well,
honest. The Simulant Discord.
Yep.
Yes,
those guys are awesome. Yeah, I just want to shout out to my gorgeous wife Julie. I couldn't have done any of this without her. Couldn't have done it. So she's amazing. Nice. And if anyone wants to see a physical release, just annoy running with scissors.
Yes, everyone now straight after this stream,
badger them.
Go and badger them. Yeah,
I mean, because it's basically done anyway. So the game.
Exactly. Yeah. We'd all. This is the thing. We all would love to see a physical release of as much as we can get, but especially when it's a polished product, we would love to have it physically, and we would all happily fork some money out for it. So yeah, we would love to see that. So running with scissors, if you're watching this, maybe you are, then yes, let's release it. Come on, let's do it. So yeah, everyone wave goodbye. We are ending this right now. I mean, obviously stay in the green room if you want after, we can have a little chat, but we're fucking off now. So see you later. Goodbye. Bye. Hold on.